Welcome in everybody to this week's edition of the Valpo Coaches Show. It's brought to you by Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute. Brandon Vickery with you. Glad to be joined by head coach of the Valpo baseball program, Brian Schmack, as we come down the final stretch of the regular season and lead into the conference tournament. And let's start by talking about the play of Ryan Maka. I mean, he was solid as a freshman, but he's reached a whole new level this year, particularly of late. What have you seen in terms of his development and what's made Ryan Maka so good at the plate?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the talent was there. I just obviously he's a freshman last year, and so, didn't get a lot of playing time early, and then got into the lineup and got some consistent at bats and started to take off towards the end of the year. And we're not surprised by the season that he's having. He's a strong kid, got a quick bat, and I think it's just confidence. I mean, I think he understands his swing now, and he's pretty dangerous at this point. So we're looking forward to that.
Bobby Nowak's the guy that started the season coming out of the bullpen. He was your closer a year ago. Then you're hit with the injury to Connor Lockwood. He goes down for the year. You had Trent Trzynski, who already was sidelined. Talk about the decision to move Bobby Nowak into the weekend rotation and the transition for him going from reliever to starter.
Yeah, I think at some point we just decided we needed to try to give some of our better arms the opportunity to pitch more, and we did that with Chasey as well. Those guys were both coming out of the bullpen to start the year, and they were doing fairly well. So we just said, hey, we just got to get these guys innings, and Bobby was up for it. He did start in junior college, and last year he was kind of a one-inning guy for us, and kind of didn't know what you were going to get because sometimes those, somewhat high adrenaline, max effort type guys, don't do well, but he's handled it really well. And if he's throwing the baseball over the plate, he gives us a really, really good chance.
You mentioned injuries a moment ago, and you've really been hit with a rash of injuries, and it's four starting position players and two potential weekend starters that have been out for an extended period of time. But yet you've hung in there. How have you kind of managed this stretch where you've been without some key players, but you've still managed to be competitive and to grab some wins?
Yeah, and it's everyone has them at this point, so no one's going to feel sorry for you, and we kind of shared that message with the guys, and I think guys have just obviously stood up and filled those roles, and on the offensive side, obviously Caleb's pretty rock solid in our lineup, and for him to go down is tough, but we've managed to give Nowicki and Cooper opportunities, and those guys have handled it very well. We've had to shift some things around outfield DH wise because of Brady, but the guys the guys want to play too. I mean, this is as bad as guys want Caleb to play, or as much as he's in our lineup. Nowicki and Coop, those guys love the opportunity, and they should, and they've prepared for those roles, and when they get the opportunity, they've done well. So we're looking forward to that. And on the mound, the same thing. Everybody wants to pitch. So when guys get opportunities, you hope that they take advantage of it, and that's what they've kind of done. They've been able to piece it together. So I'm really proud of the guys. I mean, the way they've battled through these things. I mean, everybody knows the situation, in our clubhouse here. So for them to be standing up and taking the lead and weathering the storms, so to speak, it's been impressive.
You've hit more home runs this year than you have in recent years. In fact, the fifth most in a single season in program history, the most since 2002. What's changed in that regard in terms of how you've hit with more power this season?
Well, I think some of the guys you bring in, for one, you know what I mean? Some of the guys, well, I mean, 2 through 7 or 8, you have guys that can leave the yard. And I think that they've just been able to do that. And we're allowing them to do that as well. I think sometimes you start to, years past, maybe micromanage some at bats, and you've got to do this, you've got to do that. And you just say, listen, just be yourselves, guys. And if it entails a long ball, great. And some days it's going to work out. And some days you're going to run into, hitting some loud outs, and it's not going to work out for you. But I think the possibility for the long ball, for us, has been there this year, and we like that. I mean, I think that's a nice twist to the offense that we really haven't had.
Let's look ahead to this weekend. You need one more win to secure a spot in the Missouri Valley Conference tournament. Illinois State will be in Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. What are your thoughts and your approach as you look ahead to this series against the Redbirds?
It's very cliche, but it is the one game at a time. I mean, you're just trying to win the game. I don't think, the guys aren't going to try harder. They're not going to be any different. You're just going to play baseball. And if it works out in your favor, great. You know what I mean? Our recipe is to try to play hard, limit free bases, and have quality at bats. And if that works out against Illinois State, great. We hope it does, obviously, and the guys do as well. But there's no change in the way we approach these games at all. It's the status quo for us. So we're looking forward to the challenge.
Big series coming up. There is the head coach of the Valpo baseball program, Brian Schmack, and come on out to Emory G. Bauer Field for the games Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Or if not, you can catch the action on ESPN+. This has been the Valpo Coaches Show, and it's brought to you by our friends at Lakeshore Bone and Joint Institute.